Well, thank you very much, Russell, and I'm very pleased to be here and to be able to offer you greetings from Wellington. As Russell has said, I'm the independent chair of the Forest Growers Levy Trust and was in at the beginning and have held on since. Now, it's pretty obvious to most of you, I'm sure, that forestry has been getting a lot of attention recently, and the FGLT, the Forest Growers Levy Trust, has been pretty busy in this time as well. The attention has brought some controversy, and that's mainly about blanketing the pasture, the hills, with monocultural pines, and about offering only a short-term solution or response to the greenhouse gas reductions that forestry can achieve. But the essential feature, we think, is that forestry and growing pine trees is a very important part of the New Zealand economy and capitalises on natural advantages which we've got in New Zealand to grow the trees fast and well. In 2013, the growers were successful in the introduction of a levy on harvested wood products on the logs that were taken down to provide a contribution to the expenditure that the government was offering to the industry. It had a number of contributions through organisations like Scion, MB, and other areas. And there was a feeling that forestry should play its part in contributing to that expenditure, and the levy was undertaken. That was very successful, and we're now able to say that the levy has operated for 6 years, and that is, under the terms of the legislation, the period for which a levy applies. So next month, November, the levy authority runs out. But that has meant most of the year we've been concentrating on undertaking a referendum to renew that mandate. And I'm happy to say, as will be shown in a later slide, that the result was better this time round than last time. So that, to us, is a mark of success. That it's a system that is understood and supported by growers. It's also underwritten, that successful referendum, the support of the Cabinet Committee, which has agreed to issue the new order in the last few days. So it's all running ahead smoothly. And with that authority, there'll be another 6 years of levy, and the succession will be seamless. Hopefully nobody will notice anything, but they'll keep paying. So our structure and program can continue. So that's the summary. We have a good group operating the Levy Trust. You'll know most of these people. We have 4 representatives on behalf of larger growers and 2 representing smaller growers. There's quite an arbitrary division at 1,000 hectares of trees, dividing large and small. But our constitution puts the term of the trusteeship on a limit, and we're going through an election process right now. In fact, if you read Saturday's Dom Post, as some of you would have seen a notice, public notice, calling for voting for the contenders. However, the two large growers' representatives organised themselves pretty well, and there were no challenges to their nominations. So we're very happy to say that Phil Taylor of Blakely Pacific and the head of the research committee of the Forest Growers Levy Trust has been renewed, as has Jeff Thorpe of the Lake Taupo Forest Trust, and they are happy to continue on that unopposed basis. So congratulations to both of them. For the small-scale representatives, Steve Wilton's term has just expired, or is about to expire. He's formerly with Forest Enterprises in the Wairarapa, and he is being challenged. So there is a voting process underway. And the cut-off date is Friday the 25th of October. So perhaps we can learn how abysmal voting for local matters can be from the local body elections and do a better job in terms of percentages. So by the 25th of October, all forest growers qualifying, that's big and small, can vote. And the three nominees are Ernest Norton from the far north, and many from the north will know him as a very active forester. Steve Wilton's name is in the ring again, and he's made a very good contribution. And William Peacock, a well-known forester from Central Hawke's Bay, is also standing as a small growers representative. So, as I say, qualifying foresters, please exercise your vote. Now, how do you do that? Well, Forest Voice sets it all out. Now, we organise ourselves in a particular way, and we've had a pretty reliable system for the last 6 years with an overriding focus. And the overriding focus is that the funding proposal, if it's put to us, we ask the question, is it likely to benefit the entire forest growing industry? So we're very, very conscious that we're looking to benefit all forestry, and that's the test we run. We have a series of committees, and they run from biosecurity, which is a big commitment, and actually getting bigger, as you'll hear soon. We have the Health and Safety Committee, which is FISC has been set up to look after what had been a very, very bad record, but that's improved. And we've got a number of other committees, with that largest one being industry good research. And I'll come to that in a minute. The contribution to research has always been large. It was the priority when we first went out to the marketplace, and it's remained strong under good leadership. We work closely with Scion, and we really appreciate the input that they provide. With research at about 60% of funding, we want to emphasise the process for securing that funding. It's important that we follow this process, and it's not enough just to have a enthusiast with a good idea. We have appropriate committees which have a number of peer members who assess the value of any proposal, and if it passes through that filter, it goes on to the Secretariat, which is made up of secondments from the FOA, and that is used to determine whether it fits the budget arrangements that we have for funding of the activities. We're now, there's a list of the various committees and the percentages of allocation to each of those. As you'll see, research is very generously supported, and so it should be. We're happy to be working with a budget of about $10 million a year, so that's not inconsiderable, and we are confident that that level will continue. Luckily, it's based on value, based on volume, not value. So, as you all know, the forestry market internationally and locally tends to move up and down, but we don't think that will have a great effect on us. Because if the volume keeps moving, and it's been a particularly good year this year, looking at about 36 million tonnes, we will continue to draw off a substantial sum at the same rate of 27 cents per tonne. We have no proposal to change that at this time. Before I get to that, I just want to indicate that we're not fixed in the way or the proportions we allocate in our funding, and we have looked at new programs like the kind training assessment program, in the health and safety. We support training activity to attract more young people into the industry, and we've done more work supporting the promotion of forestry as a general economic good. We know there's a bit of stress on Scion because of the failure of MB to support a couple of recent submissions. But we are very supportive of what Scion is doing, and we will maintain a strong research commitment, which we will be working in partnership with Scion to help fulfil plans. So those indicate how we leverage funding from other sources. And that has been most worthwhile. There's our website, which sets out the program in detail and where the money goes. Okay, what are we looking to do? Incidentally, yeah, that's got on it, the Forest Voice website. It's got a great deal of information. And then we've got the result of the referendum. As you'll see, pretty high numbers, which was good, although in actual numbers, it's hard to persuade a lot of the small owners to get out and actually do the vote. So look, the future. This result of the referendum gives forest leaders a lot of confidence, and confidence in the system we've developed and the sort of support that the industry is giving to itself. So we support existing critical projects, and we will take on new ones, and we think we will see a lot of support from the government and the industry generally for further planting and production. A research conference like this really underpins the confidence that we've got in the future, and I hope that by the end of tomorrow all participants will leave with even more enthusiasm about the industry and what can be achieved from plantation forest growing. So thanks for attending, and I hope you have a very enjoyable conference. Thank you.